Hey guys, Moniz here, and welcome to my review of the LG Gram 2018. Now, I've been using this laptop for a few weeks now. Like a lot of things about it, there's a couple things that I wish were changed, but overall, if you're looking for a very light and portable laptop, this one's probably gonna be on your list. Now, in terms of portability, if you're looking for a 15-inch laptop, this is one of the lightest ones, or if not the lightest laptop you can buy. It only weighs about 2.16 pounds. That's about a kilogram in weight. And when you compare that to something like the Lenovo X1 Carbon, which is only 14 inches and weighs almost 2.5 pounds. Now, there is a bit of a difference though. When you actually feel the laptop, it doesn't feel like metal, even though it is made out of nano carbon magnesium. The thing is, in order to get it this light, they had to cut back on the material. So the piece of aluminum that's in this laptop is kind of a lot more flimsier than your traditional notebook. For example, the screen flexes a lot. If you press on it, there's a lot of movement. It just doesn't feel like it's well made. Now, I'm not saying it's not well made. I think it is. It's just there is a little bit of a loss in terms of material when you go this light. In terms of ports, you have all the ports you need for a business environment. So you have your Noble Lock, you have two USB 3.0 ports, your audio jack, and a micro SD card slot. I do wish it was an SD card slot, but having a micro SD card is better than nothing. On the other side, you have a power connector, another USB 3.0 port, and full-size HDMI port, and a USB Type-C port that's Thunderbolt 3 with 4 PCIe lanes. Getting inside is kind of annoying because you got to remove 8 pads on the bottom of the laptop, and then you have to glue them back on if you want them to be secure. But you can get into it, and once you're in, I was expecting everything to be soldered onto the motherboard. Thankfully, you can upgrade the RAM down the road if you really want to, and you have 2 M.2 slots. Now, this version comes with 2 SSDs already pre-installed, and you can expect standard read and write speeds, but if you want something faster like an NVMe drive, you can upgrade that down the road. The battery below is 72 watt hours, which is a great size for a 15-inch laptop, but there's only one fan inside of here, which has me kind of concerned, and I'll talk about heat management a little bit later on. You have 2 speakers on the left and right-handed side with a little bit of wasted space. I would have loved to see bigger speakers, or maybe they could have fit in, let's say, a GTX 1050 in here, maybe add an extra fan, better performance, but I understand why they didn't. They wanted that space to remain empty in order to keep the weight down. The 15-inch display is matte, it's IPS, and of course it supports touch. If you're a creative professional, you're gonna appreciate the color accuracy. It's great for creative work. In terms of brightness, it gets around 312 nits, which is good, not great, but as long as it's 300 and above, I'm happy. The only 2 complaints I have is the fact that you can't buy this in a QHD or UHD version. I think with a 15-inch display, that would have been a nice option. And the second thing is the screen flex. Out of all the laptops that I've tested in a very long time, this one has a lot. In fact, it wobbles so much that it feels like it's actually warping. The webcam is above the display, which is always great, around pretty thin bezels. It looks like this, which is your typical laptop webcam at 720p. And of course, it also sounds like this. Sound is coming out of 2 speakers on the bottom of the laptop. They get a little bit tinny, a little bit echoey, and I don't feel like they're loud enough compared to other 15-inch laptops. So fine if you need to watch a movie, listen to a song, but you're better off using headphones instead. The keyboard is full size, so you get a numeric keypad, great for Excel users. You also have half-size arrow keys and a fingerprint scanner for Windows Hello recognition. Now, in terms of comparison, I'd say it's pretty equivalent to the Dell XPS 15, a little bit more actuation force, but the typing experience is not as nice as the XPS 15, but overall it's good. The touchpad below is a good size. It's using Windows Precision drivers and is made out of glass. It's fine. I do wish it was a little bit more accurate when I was scrolling, but overall it's a good touchpad. So my review is using the i7-8550U processor with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 2 SSDs. Overall, in terms of performance, it's great. I have no issues doing productivity. You can game on this on very, very low settings with older titles like Overwatch, maybe a little bit of League of Legends, and of course, Dota 2. You're not gonna be buying this to game on it. You're gonna be buying this to do productivity tasks, especially if you're a business professional. One thing I also forgot to mention is that this laptop has the MIL STD810G standard. So it's been through a bunch of tests in order to withstand the elements. Now, I always take this test with a grain of salt. It's not the be end all of all tests, but it will take a lot more pain compared to your typical consumer laptop. In terms of heat, I had no issues with overheating. The surface temperature stayed around 45 to 46 degrees Celsius, which is a tad above what I'd like it to be, but overall, not an issue. Same with CPU temps. Never surpassed 75 to 80 degrees Celsius, never thermal throttled. Now, the only thing I'd be wary of is the fact that this thing only has one fan and that the heat sink is being shared between the GPU and CPU. If you're the one of the 3 people that are gonna be buying this to hook it up to an external GPU, just take note that this might overheat. And last up is battery life. I'm getting about 10 to 12 hours of use before needing to charge. You can recharge the laptop using the included barrel connector in the box, or you can use the USB Type-C port and charge it that way. So here are my closing thoughts. The LG Gram 2018 is the perfect laptop for the business professional who travels a lot and truly needs to pack as light as possible. It has a great display for creative work, it has good battery life getting you through the entire day, good performance for productivity, and a good selection of ports, especially for a business environment. The only things that I don't like about it is the fact that it feels really cheap because they had to reduce the strength of the aluminum to make it as light as possible. I do wish you could buy it in a QHD or UHD version. And if you are going to be planning to hook this up to an eGPU, which is probably like 3 of you out there, expect some overheating. So that wraps up my review of the LG Gram 2018. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, please feel free to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next one.